What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. In this movie, a spider can do a lot, but not as much as he's done in other movies. There's been a lot of upset on the internet about why this movie exists. This particular movie exists with Tom Holland as opposed to Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield because of contracts and deals and negotiations and ownership of various rights. It all started with Marvel in the 80s. They were going into bankruptcy. They sold the rights to Spider-Man and many other properties to save their business from bankruptcy. Sony Studios owned the rights, the film rights to Spider-Man. In order to retain those rights and hang on to those rights, they had to make 6 movies by a certain date. And if they didn't make those movies by a certain date, then the rights of Spider-Man would revert back to Marvel. They made the first 3 films with Tobey Maguire. The third one didn't do very well. Nobody wanted to make Spider-Man 4. So they rebooted the franchise because, remember, they have to make a certain amount of movies by a certain date. We get Andrew Garfield. We did Amazing Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 2, which tanked at the box office. Sony Studios got hacked. All of their stuff got everywhere. Everybody was like, oh no, Sony's gonna go under. Sony had to do something. So they partnered up with Marvel Studios, who was already doing Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Thor, Captain America, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, all these amazing Marvel films. And they finally got the rights back to Spider-Man. Keep in mind, there's Marvel, and then there's Marvel Studios. Same company, but it's a separate division. We won't get into that. It's too complicated. Google it, look it up, go to Wikipedia, it's all there. Sony still owns the rights, but they're renting the character of Spider-Man out to Marvel Studios. So now Spider-Man gets to be in the Avengers movies. Great, awesome. Let's move on. I love that it was a smaller movie. I loved that it was a personal story. Like the stakes, they weren't the stakes of the world. They weren't gonna blow up the earth and blah, 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 whatever. No, this is a story about Peter Parker. He's a nerd, he's a dork. Perfectly portrayed in Spider-Man Homecoming by Tom Holland. I feel Tobey Maguire was a really great Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield was a really great Spider-Man. I feel Tom Holland is the perfect combination of the both. Acting was fantastic. Michael Keaton as the Vulture was incredible. Zendaya was doing something weird. Is that how you say her name? Zendaya? That girl. I loved everybody's acting. I thought it was wonderful, spectacular. So 18 out of 20. Directing. Again, hard job to pull off. Because there was a lot riding on this film, and I think they did a very great job. So directing. I'm not going to get into the technical aspects of it. I've done enough talking already. 18 out of 20. Writing. Writing could have been a little bit stronger. There was a little dialogue. Some people's perception is that some of the scenes went on a little too long. I personally like that because we kind of got to live in Peter Parker's consciousness for a little while. We got to see how he operates. I love that this film took place in Queens. It did not take place in Manhattan. It took place in Queens, which is where Spider-Man lives. So it only makes sense that Spider-Man is going to fight crime in the neighborhood where he lives. He's not going to commute to Manhattan. For if you don't live in New York, it takes a long time to get to Queens. Like, I live in Harlem. I don't leave Harlem. Everything else is too far. What kind of crime exists there? Street level crime. There's a guy who steals a bicycle. Maybe. There's a little old lady asking for directions, so she buys him a churro. Oh, and then there's a bank heist. Okay, cool, because that fuels the story. That's the kind of stuff that I loved to see. It's not these big, huge stakes of the world is going to explode and blow up. That's fine. I loved it for what it was. 15 out of 20. Effectiveness, super effective. I was afraid this was going to be the Tony Stark show featuring Spider-Man. It wasn't. It was a Spider-Man movie. It was a Peter Parker movie, really, more than anything. And like the title suggests, Spider-Man Homecoming, yes. The homecoming dance, the big event at the end of the film had big significance to the story. I really liked it. It was really well done. It was very effective in setting Spider-Man up into this universe, and it's a story about him becoming a hero. It's not a story about him becoming Spider-Man. It's a story about this kid learning to become a hero. What does that mean? It was awesome. 18 out of 20. Overall takeaway is that Marvel still got it. This was a movie for a younger audience, for a younger generation. I like that. I like how they played it off. I like the casting. Pretty much, there's a couple things that I was like, ugh, really? But that's more of a story issue. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to go into details because it's spoilers. So that being said, 15 out of 20. So Spider-Man Homecoming, you get a total overall score of 84 out of 100.
And how can this be? For he is the Kwisatz Haderach.
So guys, what did you think of Spider-Man Homecoming? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at GLT Movies. And guys, if you are fans of live comedy, improvisational comedy, I have 2 shows a month. I teach improvisational comedy at the People's Improv Theater here in New York City. So come check me out. I have 2 shows a month, Fury and Solo Improv Showcase. And also, if you want to take a class from me, because I teach. All links are in the description below, so please check those out. All the People's Improv Theater, and thank you so much to the Pit for giving me this opportunity. So guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that's pretty much what Peter Parker would want you to do. All right, movie lovers, I'm out of here.